Good morning, wise women, wild women, medicine women, enchantresses. I am Marlu, and aka Lumira, and I am one of the leaders of the Purple Tent that's within the Red Tent Goddess Sisterhood. Purple Tent was created to bring the ladies that are no longer menstruating or do not have a womb, a physical womb, or people who identify as women that do not have a physical womb. And the reason for this group is so that we can share our experiences, so that we can support each other and grow even further and realize that we as crones are the wise women in the world, and we're here to help humanity. I'm Lumira. I am a life coach, a director of Life Whole Soul Coaching School, and director of the Enchantress program in Red Tent Goddess Academy. Next up is Lisette, aka Aislinn Wolf. Please come up.
Hello, everyone. I'm Aislinn Wolf, also known as Lisette, and I am the second half of the Peace and Wisdom group. I'm also the teacher at the Red Tent Goddess Academy for the Priestess program. I am a priestess. I'm also a Reiki master, a trauma therapist, an Akashic record reader, and now I'm a waiver support coordinator. So I wear many hats, but my most important hat is I am also a sister in the red tent that I'm very proud of. And I'm also one of the leaders of the purple tent. And I can't say enough about this beautiful group and everything that you can experience and learn here, because at the end of the day, we are wise women getting together, talking, experiencing life, and trying to figure out our little spot in this world and how to make it brighter and how to make everybody else's lives brighter. And that's really our mission and our goal. And so thank you for watching this replay if you're not in person, and welcome to Purple Tent.
Thank you. And Lisa?
Hello, I am Lisa Sabaniak Gustafson, and I am also a priestess trained by Lisette here in the Red Tent. So I'm a priestess of the goddess and a dedicant of Odin, the All-Father. I am a womb healing facilitator, thanks to Jaslyn in the Red Tent and her womb shaman course. And I'm also a Reiki master teacher. So I'm here in the UK, kind of branching out Red Tent here by starting to hold in-person circles here in the UK for anybody who is interested. And then obviously part of the purple tent here as well, because I am of that age where the symptoms are upon me. And I'm also a Reiki drummer as of last weekend, which is really, really cool, adding to my Reiki practice like that. And I also practice NLP, which is neuro linguistic programming, and belief clearing. So my business is Life Like You Mean It. And I focus with all of that in helping people find love and acceptance of themselves.
Beautiful. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Connie, you're up next.
Hi, I am Connie. I wear many hats. I'm in transition right now, trying to figure out, what the next step is. I am a Reiki master, a palm reader, a massage therapist, body worker, a reflexologist, minister, a life coach. And I love the red tent and the purple tent. The sisterhood is passionate and supportive. And this is what we all need.
Thank you, Connie. Hello, everybody. So Purple Tent today is about spiritual communication. That is the topic, but we always branch out to symptoms of menopause, and we talk about our experiences. So just to begin with experiences of the paranormal, of how we have experienced or any angelic communication or any goddess communication or spiritual guide communication. Now, we know that there are certain ways that they communicate with us, and we're going to first see or listen to our sisters and find out what their experiences have been. And if there's any gaps there, I'll come back in and say, well, this is all the ways that they can come and communicate with us. So first, who would like to be the first one to give us a little story about your experience? Give us like 5 minutes of an experience you've had where you were certain you were being guided. Who would like to go? Okay, Lisa.
I can go. So in our priestess training, of course, we had lots of different meditations and journeys that we did to meet various goddesses and had lots of different experiences with that. But the coolest thing I think that happened was when so Jaslyn is my womb healer. And so I have regular sessions with Jazz. And when I was in the priestess training, Jazz was like, oh, do you want to go and do a journey into your womb and see which goddess is popping up to see if, if she's stepping forward so that I could then dedicate myself to a specific goddess? It's like, oh, yes, that would be brilliant. And so we dive on into my womb space, and I'm taken on this journey where I am in the ocean and there's this big storm and it's really choppy, but I'm not scared at all. And Jaslyn instructs, she says, there's this hand that comes down. Like, oh, yeah, I can see the hand, see the hand. Okay, grab the hand. Oh, I grab the hand. All right, who is the goddess on the other side of the hand? It's like, oh, it's Odin, the All Father. Like, you're not a goddess. and, and he was like absolutely full on conversation with me. He was just like, duh, obviously I'm not a goddess. What are you even looking for a goddess for? I'm right here. This is all you need. Like, okay, I'll take that. I was so confused. I was like, but I'm supposed to be a priestess of a goddess. Okay, I'll just run with this. And so Jaslyn, of course, was asking me to tell her what was happening and to ask different questions. And I had this full-on conversation with him. The first thing that he really said to me, other than the shock of, obviously, I'm not a goddess, was his message to me was, put the sword down, the battle is over. And Odin is a god of war. And he had been giving me some other signals before, and I'd had an Akashic record reading with Lisette, who had said Odin was around. He was dropping me these black feathers. And so I knew that he was in the space, but I was adamant I was supposed to be meeting a goddess, right? So I was kind of pushing him off a little bit. And when I looked him up, it's like, God of war. God, I've done enough fighting in my life. I don't understand why that would be something that I would want, right? Who would want war? And then when that message came, put down your sword, the battle is over. It's like, I just knew in that instant, oh, the war is here. The war is inside. And I just knew in that moment that, oh, okay, the Norse back then, of course, everything was about fighting for everything that you had. So they took that very literally, God of war. Whereas now, no, now you can start to understand a little bit more what a god or a goddess of war really is, right? It's knowing when to put down your sword. It's knowing when to pick up your sword, choosing your battles, but that your biggest battle is always the one with yourself, right? So it was such a poignant moment. I was bawling my eyes out, and Jaslyn was like, "What's he saying? What's he saying?" And I'm like telling her, kind of like I was an interpreter almost. And she was like, "How long has he been with you?" And so I would ask, and he's like, "What a stupid question." It's like, "I've always been with you. What are you talking about? I've always been here." It's like, oh, maybe there's a different way. So like in this life, he's like, don't be stupid. Like, you can't get rid of me. I've always been. You've always been. We've always been. Right? It sounds like he was being a bit rude, but he wasn't at all. It was just like duh, wake up, remember these things, Lisa. Like, right, we used to do this and this and this, like if it was like just normal. And he brought me up to see the entire universe and this big, huge flower of life that just connected everything. It was just like, see? And I was like, I do see. I think that the message is that we're all connected and everything, and be like, "Mhm." Like he was like, I am trying to be patient. It's like trying to follow him and remember. And he brought me into Valhalla. We sat at this big, huge table, and all different ancestors, and everybody was there. People that I don't know who they are, but I knew that they somehow we were related in some sort of way. It's just absolutely incredible experience. And I've had several with him since then. And oftentimes when I'm not trying to communicate with him, but just like with this, right? I was trying to find a goddess. Other times I've been just in a meditation or, doing something with Reiki, with like a Reiki experience or something. And then whoop, I'm in Valhalla. And I just, every single time, it's really funny. So like I just feel his presence all the time. And I went out and I bought this little figurine. I bought it on the internet. And you know what that's like, right? You don't realize how small it's going to be. And I had already bought this fairly large figurine for Bastette's. And at that time, I only had one altar and I put them both side by side. So his figurine did look quite puny. And I could feel the disgruntled energy from him, right? Like I could not light his candle. Like I could not light I could light Bastette's candle, no problem. And then my lighter wouldn't work. And I'd be like, okay, I'll light his candle from Bastette's candle. Nope. It just would not light. And I'd have to like, okay, I'm really sorry that your that your figurine is so small. I'm gonna rectify this. And then boom, my candle would light, no problem. And I have since gone and bought the biggest statue of all of them that I have and given him his own space. And boy, is he happy with that. He's so like the energy just completely shifted once he got his big representation rather of himself. It's really funny. Yeah.
It's so awesome.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it feels like when my grandmother passed away and I felt like I always had her beside me, like always felt like I could have a conversation with her. If I started doing like a negative mantra in my head, she'd be like, nope, we don't do that anymore. And she'd be like right there. And I feel like that's very similar to Odin. It's like he'll just do it in a little bit more of a, do I have to go through this again? Wait with me. And when I ask him, well, like, what is our relationship? It's like he doesn't understand the question. He's just like, what do you mean? What is our relationship? It is. It just always is. What? It was like, was I like a priestess of yours in a past life? And he's just like, I feel like he's just looking at me like, what? Why don't you know this answer? No, we just are. I don't know what that means, but okay, I'll just surrender the fact that I don't need to know what that means. We just are, and we always have been, and I'm just waking up to it now. Maybe I'll have some of those answers later, but now is not my time to consciously know what they are.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah,
That
it's
you
pretty
are
cool.
surrendering, you're just surrendering.
Yeah,
I have a
yeah.
hard time with that.
That's a big part of this lesson, I think, is just this surrender. It's like, you do know. It's like, kind of shaking me by the shoulders where it's like, you do know, just get your ego out of there and get your conscious mind trying to figure it all out And just listen, it's there. Right. So that's when I feel like his head shake and his like furrowed brow, or he's like, what? When I'm asking him these questions, it's like, I know that I know the answer.
Would you like some feedback? Or
Yeah, of course,
may I invite you to do something to help you understand?
Absolutely.
So before you go to bed, and this is an exercise that we do in the Enchantress program, when in the module of spiritual communication, is you take a journal or some paper and a pen and you put it next to your night table. And well, before you do that, you write on there exactly what you want to see in tonight's dream. So in your case, you would say like, what was my relationship with you? Show me how we were, whatever, you would phrase it the way you want. And then you would say it a couple of times, like 3 or 4 times. And then bring in your spirit guides, bring in your angels, bring in those that are with you, your ancestors. Make yourself a bubble of protection with angels or however you protect yourself, and ask them to only allow in that bubble that which services you for your highest good, and to guide you in your dreams to a place where you would understand, and that it would be easy and simple for you to understand, not this puzzle of, because angels like to be, they're very curious, and they like to be very, and then,
very
you're like
cryptic.
wondering, what are they saying? No, ask them for simplicity, and ask them to remember when you get up in the morning with enough time for you to be able to write it. So when you wake up in the morning, you're going to have something vivid right away. And it may not make sense right away, but your job is to write it however it comes out. And then later you're going to sit and you're going to read it. And then little by little, you'll see what it really means. You will recognize the meaning behind it, because you will have had all these spirit guides and angels helping you in the dream. It's actually working in your brain to remind you of who you were and how that connection happened. And so it might look weird to you, but you write it anyway. You might think that has nothing to do with what I asked, but you write it anyway. And then when you come back to it, you'll realize, oh my God, that's what it meant.
Love it.
It usually just happens one night. There are people that say to me, I didn't get anything from it. I'm going to do it again tonight. I don't usually like to do that, because I feel that in one time it works. This is it. And you're just doubting yourself. So just have to do it once. If you do it right, if you get the protection and you ask for all of them to help you, and you keep the protection going all night, you're fine. You just wake up in the morning and you'll know. I'd love to hear what happens. Let me know.
Yeah, will do.
Okay. Does anybody else want to talk about their experience, how they have communicated with angels or spirit, or how they have all of a sudden become guided?
I will.
Okay.
20 years ago, and I had been sick, and I was at a hospital in the emergency room. I needed surgery, and they didn't have a surgeon. It was first New Year's Day, and for some reason they screwed up and didn't have a surgeon, so they were getting ready to send me on. And I was in the worst pain I'd ever been. I mean, I would have rather gone through labor. It was so bad. It was an ovarian cyst, but they thought it was my appendix. But the pain was it was unbelievable. And they sent a nurse. They had to send me to the next town, which was an hour away. And so they sent a nurse there with me, and they were giving me pain medication that was supposed to last 6 hours. And I was getting it every hour, because for some reason the surgeon didn't come right away. Anyway, the pain was just intense. And there were times that I was just like, I can't do this. this has to stop. And I did not know that they were telling my husband, as long as they could keep me conscious, I would live. That they told him, if she loses consciousness, we will lose her. And at this point, I was like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And an angel came and comforted me. And I don't remember how. And it worked for a while. And then she couldn't like comfort me enough or take the pain away. So, oh yeah, what they did is, you know, like the fuzzies you get in your sock, the little round balls. They put these little round balls around me. They insulated me. And different angels came and put different colors. And I ended up having 3 angels come to me and put these little balls around me. And it wasn't working. And the angels were crying. And the 3rd angel just lost it. She was crying so hard. And she went to God, said, just felt terrible. They felt like they weren't doing their job. And said, it's not working. And this angel was just in anguish. She was wringing her hands and crying. And the only thing I could see is the brightest, whitest, yellowest light. You know, you can't look at it. And she was like looking down because she couldn't look at it either. And she was very ashamed. And this voice is like, it's okay, bring her to me. And so the angels went and got me. And I was able to stand for some reason. I was able to stand there, but I had to have my eyes down because the light was so bright. And this enormous hand. I kind of felt like I was, what were those, the precious moments statues? Like I was that. And then there was this giant light thing here. And he took his hand like this, put his hand on my head. And the pain went away. And after I had surgery, the general surgeon had started it and then had to call a GYN in because my ovary had so many cysts on it that the cyst had gone into the fallopian tube and actually blew the fallopian tube up. And they said there were too many cysts to even count. They said there were hundreds, if not thousands. And my ovary had torsion 720 degrees. And it was dead. And I actually have pictures of all this. They're really cool. Instead of being white, pinkish, like they should be, everything is black and purple, like the worst bruise ever. But so they checked my tube and my ovary and my appendix. And ever since then, when I pray, I really don't even have to think about it. I mean, normally if something's very heavy on your heart, you really get into it. And I don't even have to form words. I can like form a thought or a feeling and like just send it. And I can do it. There's just a difference. I feel it's a gift. It makes it just easier for me to pray for people. And I find since I become a Reiki master, it's the same. I can do Reiki. It's like easier. And it was always easy. So that doesn't make any sense. But it just is. It's just easier. And I always really had to get like in the zone to send Reiki. And I could just send Reiki like that now.
Yeah.
So that's like my experience.
It's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Lisette, are you up to sharing or do you want me to skip you? Pass?
No, I'm up to sharing. I'm just trying to, that's amazing, Connie. And wow, it's just, yeah. And Lisa, that was amazing. Both stories were incredible. I'm trying to think. I've had multiple experiences, nothing earth-shattering like that, but so I can mention two quick ones that were interesting. So I've always been into angels. Angels have always been ever since I started my spiritual journey. Angels have always been important. And besides angels, of course, archangels as well. And I shouldn't say my favorite archangel, but he is the one that is the most protective with me, and the one that's always been with me, and the one that, um, you know, always around me is Michael, Archangel Michael. Um, and I've always been devoted to Archangel Michael since I was a kid. And when I used to work at Nova University, I I had an office where I worked in the students, like the student affairs office, where I did like IDs for student IDs, like pictures, taking their pictures and sending them to get their IDs done and things like that. And I had my own desk, and I had a supervisor that had just started working there. He was pretty difficult. We didn't get along. And he saw that I had a little statue of Archangel Michael on my desk, along with some crystals. So he got really upset. And he looked at me and he's like, this isn't a church. This is an office. So you should really get rid of that statue. Put it away, take it home, but it doesn't belong on your desk. And mind you, my desk was nowhere near the entrance of the room. So you couldn't see my desk from the outside. So it wasn't like, it was in any way violating anything. And I was allowed to put whatever I wanted on my desk. So I looked at him and I said, well, I'm not really bothering anybody. This isn't, nobody can even see it. And he goes, I don't care. I could see it. And it bothers me. So put it away. So I sat there and I debated like what to do. And then eventually I'm like, okay, I guess for the sake of not getting into an argument with the supervisor that just got hired, I guess I'll put it away for now and I'll figure it out. So I took my little statue and I put him in my drawer. And then about a week later, I went to see my ex-Reiki teacher, a lady that had taught me Reiki. She was an angel reader. And she did like, angel card readings and things like that. And she was a medium. And so I had booked an appointment to see her. And when I went to see her, I sat down and she was shuffling the cards. And she looked at me and she said, somebody's upset. And I said, what do you mean? And then she shuffled the cards some more. And then she's like, you pissed off an angel. And I looked at her and I said, what do you mean? I had forgotten about the whole incident. So I wasn't even focused on that. I didn't know what she was talking about. And she looked at me, she goes, Archangel Michael says that you actually put him away. Does that make any sense? And I looked at her and I'm like, oh my God, you have one of those aha moments where you're like, no. And then I was like, oh my God. And she looked at me and she goes, I don't know what you did, but he's not a happy camper. And I was like, oh yeah. And then I tell her the story and she's like, okay, well now it makes sense. Because he's saying, stop putting me away, stand up for yourself and stand up for what you believe and don't back down. You have a valid point and stick to that. And I was like, okay. And she's like, so Archangel Michael is giving you an instruction. You are to go to work, open your drawer, take out his statue and put it proudly on your desk. And that's it. You are allowed to put things on your desk. And so that's exactly what you're going to do. And I was like in an absolute state of shock. I've never been told off by an angel. So yeah, that was beyond interesting. And so I did. I took out the statue when I got to work and I put it on my desk. And then it's funny because about a month after I had that reading, I went back to her to get some Reiki. And she was doing Reiki on me and she looked at me and she said, oh, your energy has shifted. Oh, it's nice and clear now. And then she's like, oh, okay, the angels are happy with you. What did you do? Did you listen to the advice? Because Archangel Michael, I feel his presence and I feel like he's smiling. I feel the energy. And I was like, yep, I took the advice. I did exactly what he said to do and I did it. And she goes, oh, okay, good. So he's happy because I feel it. So that was such an amazing experience, you know, because that was so like so direct. There was no there was no misunderstanding that message. Um so
Wow.
that's one of my most powerful angel um experiences. And the other one that I want to mention real quick is when I was getting Reiki, when I was becoming trained in Reiki, and I took Reiki 1, and I was being attuned by the same lady. She was attuning me in Reiki 1. We were sitting down in a circle in a meditation. I kept on feeling this warm feeling on the left side of my body. And it was like, I felt like something touching my face. I don't know how else to explain it, but it felt like something soft, like caressing my face, right? And then caressing my side of the body, that the left side of my body. And it felt warm, like this warm liquid energy. I don't know how else to describe it, but it was like warm and very, very like comforting, and like it felt amazing. It felt like, you know, like a really amazing sensation. And I thought to myself, what is this? This is so weird. And I only felt it on one side of my body. So then when we were done with the meditation and we were done with the attunement, she went around to each person and she said what she saw, if she saw anything around us. And then she would ask us questions about like what we felt when we were getting attuned. And she looked at me when she got to me and she said, oh, Lisette, I saw the most beautiful angel, and his or her wing was striking the left side of your body. As a matter of fact, it was caressing your face, it was caressing your arm. I mean, did you feel anything? And I was like in an absolute state of shock because it was the first time I had ever felt anything spiritually. And I was like, yes, I did. And I described the feeling. And she said, yep, that was it. That was the angel's caress. That's exactly what I saw. An angel caressing the left side of your body, especially your face, your arm. And of course you felt the warmth because it's energy. It's energy that you're feeling on that side of the body. So that was my second experience, which was amazing. It's the first time I had ever felt an angel. So yeah, those were my two most powerful experiences that I can remember regarding angels.
Wow. I have a really recent well, last year, April 25th, 2021. I was driving on I-95 coming back home from West Palm Beach to Miami, and right before that drive, okay, so let me just back up. That day, my granddaughter, who's 17, had a national dance competition. My mom, my little girl, who was 8 at the time, and I were supposed to take her early in the morning, spend the day over there with her, watch all the dances, and come back home in the evening. That day, my little daughter's cousin, who's an adult, called me and said that she wanted to spend the day with my daughter. Usually, my little girl goes everywhere with me, and she hardly ever says yes to anybody in her dad's side to pick her up because she prefers to be with me. So when her cousin called, I figured she wasn't going to go. But to my amazement, my daughter said yes, that she wanted to go with her. So I accepted for her to come pick her up before we left to the West Palm Beach trip. So my little girl didn't go with us. Okay, so it's just my mother, my granddaughter in back, my mother in the passenger front, and me driving. We spent the day there. The whole studio was coming back home, driving on I-95. There were cars around us from the studio. and I was driving on my lane, and I make a phone call. My hands are on the wheel. I'm only going 65 miles an hour. I'm on my lane. I'm watching straight ahead. Everything's going well. I make a phone call and I tell my daughter, the mother of my granddaughter, I told my daughter, hey, baby, we're on the way home. I'm bringing your daughter home safe. Before that, I had made a prayer. Before I walked into the car, I made a prayer. It was a quick prayer. I had said, angels, put yourselves around this car, over me, under me, and around us. Protect us on this drive. That's it. That's all I said. I didn't go into an archangel. I didn't do a ceremonious, sacred space. All I did was say, angels, be around me, protect us, over me, around, under me, and around me. And I say that all the time. But this time, I felt like I had done it quickly, really fast. Well, I'm just driving normally, and a car hits me. It's a car that was going to go into the other lane, was driving into the other lane, and hits me in the back. The airbags pop up. I can't see anything in front of me. I can't see anything around me. I can't see behind me, nothing, because the airbags are in the way. But I feel my car turning. The car's turning, and then I feel another beep, some other hit, and then another hit. So we got hit 3 times, three different cars. We were swirling around, we were screaming, and I was like looking at us. We were like intact, and I'm thinking, okay, this is the last day of my life. That's it. I'm gonna be done after this. And then we hit the wall on I-95 in the middle. And I'm like, okay, is everybody okay? Yes. Okay, I try to open my door. I can't open my door. So my granddaughter opens her door, opens my mom's door, tries to pull her out. And I smell like there's going to be fire. I smell that burning sensation, the burning, which later on I figured out that it was the airbags, but I didn't know that at the time. I thought my car was going to blow up. I'm like pushing my mom out, and she's got this little space to get through because there's an airbag this big, and so she's going through, and I'm pushing my mom. She's 82 years old, and she has a problem with her knees, and we just had an accident, and I didn't know how she was, which later on I found out her back had broken. There was a piece of a fragment, a whole cervical spine that had shattered, and her spine had gotten together. But I'm here pushing her out the door, and we sent her with the rescue to the hospital. My granddaughter feels fine. Her foot is hurt, but she goes with one of the other cars that came from the studio. They stopped to see what was happening and see we were okay, and she went home with them, and I stayed. And then I looked at the car. Had my little girl been behind me where she usually had been, she would not be alive today. The whole back seat on her side was completely, the tire was in there, it was completely shattered. And yet the 3 seats were not. The whole car had bumps everywhere. It was all in, the lights, everything was broken, but our seats were intact. And we walked out of that accident. And to this day, I know it was the angels. Okay, so that was my story. I have a lot of them, but I do want to say that they do communicate in many different ways. They communicate by sending feathers like they did to Lisa. They communicate by talking like they did to Connie. They communicate through dreams. They communicate through readers like they did to Lisette. And they communicate by just showing up like they did for me. So feathers is a big one. When you are not sure if you're going the right direction, you can ask for guidance. And if a feather just shows up somewhere, like to me, it's been weird because sometimes I've seen a feather stuck to my door in the car, and I'm like, that's definitely not supposed to be there, Like if it's a feather that you know is supposed to be there, I get it. But a feather that is stuck to the window of your car so that you can see it definitely is a sign that you're doing okay. So, I mean, reach out to me, ladies that are going to watch the replay, that are watching the replay. Reach out to me if you have any questions. If you want to go over anything, you can reach out to Lisa, to Connie, or to Lisette. And so now, if Lisette is ready and wants to, we can continue on the conversation we had last month on the Black Madonna, if you're up to it.
Yes. So, the Black Madonna. So for those that were not in the last circle and are not familiar with the Black Madonna, I'm going to give a brief explanation so that you kind of understand where we're coming from. So we chose the Black Madonna as our goddess of our guiding goddess, or the goddess that guides the purple tent. And the reason for that is I have had very powerful experiences with the Black Madonna myself, and I've been researching a lot about who is the Black Madonna in every aspect. And what I discovered is that she's an amazing goddess to turn to, and especially for women like us, wise women, women that are in this stage of life, can really, really connect deeply with the Black Madonna and with everything she stands for, because she is the cosmic mother. She is the void. She is the womb. You'll see her portrayed, usually portrayed as the Virgin Mary or Mother Mary. And yes, that is one of her manifestations for sure. She is Mother Mary, but it's interesting because she's Mother Mary and so much more. She's Mother Mary, she's Mary Magdalene, she is Shakti, she is Kali, she is what they call the Shahina, which is also the Shakti energy, or you could say she's the Holy Spirit if you want to look at it that way, or she's the primordial goddess. She's Gaia. She's also known as Astarte, Ishtar, Inanna, Sophia. Basically, she is the goddess, the mother goddess, the root of all goddesses, where all goddesses meet. And it's funny because as her aspect as Mother Mary, when you look at her in that way, when you think of Mother Mary, you think of like, she's in heaven, and you think of her, with her blue veil, and you think of light and clouds, and how she's usually portrayed like full of light. The thing with the Black Madonna is she's full of light as well, except she is the connection to the earth. So she has that the darkness about her. So she's amazing for all kinds of womb healings, anything that has to do with connecting to the shadow, because she helps you overcome the shadows. And it's amazing because she's very comforting and she's very earthy. So if you want to look at it from an easier standpoint, picture Mother Mary and everything that is related to Mother Mary and all earth goddesses rolled up in one, and it's an earth connection. So when you think of the Black Madonna, you think earth, you think roots, you think Gaia, you think the womb, the cosmic womb, the womb of the beyond. Those are some of the ways that I could describe what it's like to work with the Black Madonna. So she's extremely healing. And I felt that she was the perfect choice for us because we all have different ways of looking at the goddess. And we all have different ways of looking at, especially when we think of a mother goddess. I'm sure that if I go around asking everybody, who do you see as a mother goddess, I'm going to get all kinds of answers. But the point is that the feeling you get is the same. So you can call her whatever you want, but the experience is the same. It's grounding, it's loving, it's nurturing, it's healing, and it's the connection to the earth. So that's why I felt she was perfect, because no matter what goddess you follow, I'm sure that you can connect to a mother goddess, because most of us are mothers in one way or another. And we all know what it's like to be mothered and how comforting it feels to have a mother's arms around us. And that's the energy of the Black Madonna. So that's the reason why I thought she was a great choice. Um, and so if you meditate with her, you'll feel that loving, nurturing energy. So what I want to do is my personal favorite way of connecting with her is I like to go into a cave. I like to go into a cave. I like to meditate that I'm going into a cave and I am experiencing her loving, warm energy as I am exploring this cave. And then I go deep until the point where I feel her arms around me and I feel the expanse of the cosmic womb. So we're going to do a similar meditation, okay? So that you get to also experience what that feels like spiritually.
Okay.
So,
So let's turn off our cameras so that whoever is doing the replay can only hear, because we're going to close our eyes, right?
right, good idea. Let's do that.
Okay.
Okay. So you ladies that have had meditations with me, you know that I don't do very long meditations, but I do meditations that are emotional, impacting, and deep. So you don't have to meditate for long periods of time. You just need to connect and feel. That's my personal theory and how I normally meditate. So I want you to relax and get into a position where you feel like you can really connect. Take a deep breath. And I want you to let go of all of your worries. I want you to not have any lingering thoughts, but just take a deep breath, a very deep cleansing breath, and be ready to feel the primordial mother and her embrace. So once you feel really relaxed, I want you to visualize yourself walking, and you're walking in a field, and this field is full of flowers. There's butterflies and there's nature all around you. I want you to take another deep breath. And as you're taking this deep breath, you feel yourself more and more relaxed. And you're able to really take in the sights in front of you. Really appreciate this garden, this meadow, the beautiful flowers that are all around you. And it's up to you what flowers you want in your garden, in your meadow. They can be roses, they can be sunflowers. It's up to you. Whatever flowers make you happy and make you feel connected, that is what you will see around you. As you continue to take in the sights and you continue to walk, you notice that in front of you, there is a cave, the entrance of a cave. And as you are getting closer to the entrance of this cave, you notice that the sun's going down. And it's really interesting because the sun's going down very rapidly. And it's like 1 minute it's daytime and 1 minute it's nighttime. And all of a sudden now you look behind you and it's nighttime. And you see that there's stars twinkling in the sky. And you look up and you're looking for the moon. But you don't see the moon except for a little sliver of the moon. And then you realize, oh, it's a waning moon. That's what it is. And as you look up at the moon, you feel this breeze. And it's a nice, cool breeze. Not too cold, not hot, just a nice, cool breeze. And now you look in front of you and there's the entrance to this cave. I'd like you to see yourself entering the cave. And as you enter the cave, you notice that the cave inside is lit up. There's candles everywhere, and there's torches on the walls. And you're wondering, who lit these candles? Wow. As you look around, you notice that the cave is deep, but it's wide and comfortable to walk in. And it's beautiful, all full of tall candles everywhere. And as you're walking through the cave, you notice a scent in the air. You take a deep breath and you smell myrrh and frankincense and sandalwood. All kinds of aromatic woods are burning. It's like this beautiful, deep, sweet smelling incense that is spicy and sweet at the same time. And as you're taking in the smells of the incense, the sights of the candles, you feel warm and comfortable. It doesn't feel hot. It doesn't feel cold. It's just a wonderful, warm feeling. And as you're walking, you notice in front of you a silhouette appearing slowly, slowly. You don't get to see the face completely, but you see the outline, the silhouette of a beautiful woman. As you get closer to the silhouette, she starts to slowly materialize, and you see this beautiful woman, but she's dressed in black and she's covered with a black veil. So it's difficult to see her face 100%, but you see a beautiful smile through the black veil. You notice that she's smiling. You start to see her features just a little bit more. As you look in front of you, she radiates this beautiful, warm, healing energy. You feel all of your chakras vibrating. Your whole body is vibrating and pulsating, but it feels healing and cleansing. She identifies herself as the Black Madonna. And as you approach her and you ask her, "Who are you?" she smiles and she says, "Who do you want me to be? Because I am." And then you look at her and you take in those words, "I am." So she is, and you are too, because you are connected to her and she's connected to you. She smiles and she says, "I am your mother. I am your first mother, your earthly mother, your heavenly mother, your spiritual mother. I am you and you are me. We are connected, always. And I love you. And I'm here to comfort you and nurture you. And know that you can turn to me whenever you need me." And as she says those words, you feel the energy from her. And it's warm and it's loving and it's inviting. And then she turns to you and she gives you a personal message. Listen for her message. I'll give you a moment so that you could feel her and speak to her. Now that you have received your message from her and have had an opportunity to commune with her, she places her arms around you in a warm, healing embrace. Feel the energy of this goddess as your body radiates and feels complete. She smiles at you once more and says, "You are healed. Your energy has been aligned. All that you need to do is commune with me and connect to me, and the energy and the healing will continue to flow as often and as powerfully as you want it to." And with those words, she begins to fade slowly until there's nothing left but the smell of myrrh and frankincense and sandalwood and the beautiful burning candles inside the cave. You look around one last time, take in the sights of this beautiful cave, and know that you can come here and commune with her and connect to her whenever you want. You don't have to come to the cave to connect to her, but it is a great place to start the connection. You take one last look at the cave and walk outside. And as you do, you notice that the cave is getting a little dimmer. The candles are flickering. And as you finish walking completely out of the cave, all of the candles and the torches on the wall turn off, and the cave is completely dark. So you know that she is gone, not forever. And whenever you want, you can come back to this cave and you will find those candles lit, and you will find the torches lit, and you will feel her energy once more. So as you walk out, you look around you and you notice that the night is starting to become the dawn. And you see that the sun's coming up. And now you're looking at a sunrise. And it's a sunrise in a beautiful meadow filled with flowers. And you wonder, how did that happen? I was only there a moment, but a moment that was healing and nurturing. And so now you got to experience nighttime, daytime, and sunrise because she is all of that and more. So as you continue to walk in the meadow, look around at the flowers, you notice that there is an opening. It looks like you are facing some kind of building. Open the door. And as you open the door, you're back in your room. You're back in your chair or your bed. And you are back from your journey. And whenever you feel ready, you can open your eyes.
I had to wiggle my toes and my fingers to make sure I was back. That was great.
Yes.
I connected. You connected, Connie?
Yes.
Lisa, you connected? Wow. Thank you so much.
You're
Aislinn,
welcome. You're welcome.
does anybody want to share their experience? You don't have to.
Let It Be came to me. There's some issues I don't know if I've been struggling. I've been like, what does this mean? What should I do? and let it be came to me.
What's let it be?
Let it be.
Oh, that's the message.
That's the message. Let it be.
Now, be honest, Connie, did you hear this? Did you hear the voice of Paul McCartney in your mind?
Yes,
No,
yes.
John
It
Lennon.
come to me, and because that's one of my favorite songs.
Okay. I thought
But
so.
I get communication a lot with music. A
Okay.
lot. So that wasn't anything unusual.
That's awesome. There's people that get the communication with colors, some people with music, other people with, they see things, some people hear it, some people smell it. So cool, right? Lisa, do you want to share anything? Because I know that you had a headache. I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, I did connect, but yeah, I'm gonna keep that for myself.
Okay. Okay. I connected too. My lesson, what she said to me, my message was that women will communicate with any goddess. So like I have Benzaiten and I have Hecate and I have Virgin Mary. And she said that they're all great. They're all part of her. They're just integrations of her. They're just manifestations of her. And however a woman or man can communicate or relate to her in any particular way is great. But to go around and teach that there is a God and goddess energy that created the universe, created the world, and that goddess part, the female part of God, is the goddess that whatever goddess we decide to connect with. Like, like I connect with Benzaiten and Mother Mary and Hecate and others like Kuan Yin. She says they're all me. They're all me. And you can communicate that way, or you can communicate directly with the energy of the goddess, however you want to do it. But she wants me to teach it. She wants me to teach it, and I've asked her to guide me how I'm going to teach it, because most people want to just connect with one, right? And they become like, this is my goddess, I'm Virgin Mary, and that's it, or whoever, right? And my lesson here today was let them be, right, Connie? Let them be. That's what they want. But to remind the world that they can connect directly to the feminine energy of God, which is all of those goddesses, the Shakti, the Kali, the Isis, the Inanna, the whoever, right? Aphrodite, they're all one huge energy. The umbrella, we can call that the Black Madonna, or we can call that Shakti, or we can call that any of the names that Lisette mentioned. But it is the Holy Ghost. It is the Holy Spirit. The female part of the Trinity is female, is the Holy Spirit. So we have the God, the Creator, we have the Holy Spirit that's female, and we have Jesus in the Christian religion. And in the Hebrew religion, there's also a lot of religions don't have the goddess per se, but she's there. She is the Holy Spirit. You just don't know it. Anyway, I'm supposed to teach it, and I'll be guided to how I'm going to teach it. So this was my first lesson as image, as unprofessional as it might be. It's what I got. They said, how about you? Do you want to mention anything? I know you weren't doing the actual meditation?
Ye-
Did you
Yeah.
feel any?
So I didn't experience something in particular today because since I'm not meditating with you guys, I'm leading you, but I've done this meditation before on my own. And what I usually feel is a very warm embrace and a very deep connection. And I'm very connected to the Black Madonna. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to be taking a vow to her today. And I have a graduation today for another program that I'm in. And it's a 2-year program and it ends today. And today is my graduation later in the day. And that she is the goddess I am dedicating my Sybil practice to. So um, anytime I do a reading, anytime I use the runes, anytime I do anything that is divinatory, it's the Black Madonna that's going to step forward. And this came out in a reading that she is the goddess that I should turn to. And it's interesting because I work with a lot of goddesses, and anyone that knows me knows that my main goddess for the longest time has always been Bridget, and it's still Bridget. I'm still very dedicated to Bridget. But it's interesting because she stepped forward when it comes to readings, and she said, Bridget, and I continue to communicate with Bridget. Bridget will help me when it comes to readings for myself. If I want to know something, I can ask Bridget. But when I want to do things for others, then the Black Madonna wants to be the one to step forward, which I found very interesting because I never, all my research I've ever done with the Black Madonna and all the connections I've done with her, I never saw her as a goddess you turn to for divination. When I think of divination, I think of Hecate, and I think of, like, maybe Carriewen, and there's many goddesses out there, Freya. There's lots of goddesses that are connected to divination. And the Black Madonna just wasn't one of those goddesses that I ever thought had anything to do with divination. And then I learned a very valuable lesson. It's not about one or two goddesses. She is the culmination of them all. She is the Earth Mother. She is divination. She is the primordial connection to the cosmos. Like, you can turn to her for everything, for healing, for divination. I mean, you name it. There isn't anything she can't do or anything she won't help you with. So it's interesting. That was a valuable lesson I learned. I never thought of her that way. And that's when I learned not to have perceptions when it comes to things like this, because a goddess is so much more than you can imagine. See, we kind of put goddesses in little compartments, like, oh, Venus, oh, she's the goddess of love, and Hecate, and she's the goddess of, witchcraft or whatever. And then Benzaiten, right? And she's just the goddess of love, or the goddess of the arts, or the goddess of, no, there's so much more to them. They're so multidimensional. And that's just it, just like we are, right? We're more than just mothers, and we're more than just, you know, life coaches, therapists, and we wear many hats, but those hats are not the only hats we wear, right? Like, Marlu is a mother, but Marlu is also a daughter, but Marlu is also a life coach, but Marlu is also a priestess and an enchantress and a teacher. She has layers and dimensions to her, and we all do. And so do goddesses. And so that was a valuable lesson I learned. And today's a special day because I get to connect really deep to this Black Madonna. And so, yeah. So what can I say? I've had many experiences with her, and many valuable lessons that I've learned along the way. And she's pretty amazing and very healing. So if you're looking for healing, she's a great goddess to turn to, but she will heal you. So that's what I have to say about this amazing, amazing Earth Mother.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And we're in time. It's 11:30. So we always have an hour and a half for the purple tent, and it's perfect. And
Yay! I didn't ramble on too much because I normally do.
Lisa, thank you for being part of the purple tent, and for being here today. And I know you didn't sleep a lot last night, and you have a huge day today. And we are so, so grateful. And I know that the Black Madonna is grateful too that you were here today, because you touched us. She touched us, and she touched us through you. Thank you.
You're welcome. I wouldn't miss it. I was sorry I was a little late, but yeah, I would never miss it. You
Thank
guys
you.
are always a priority for me.
For those of you who are watching the replay, we're here for you. Connie, Lisa, and I are here for you. We are really believe in the purple tent, and we know it's going to go places, and we're here to begin it. Thank you all for coming. And with that, I bid you a beautiful month, and I'll see you in November for gratitude and happiness.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye,
Thank you.
Bye,
ladies.
everybody. Have a great
Bye.
rest of your weekend. Bye.
You
Congratulations,
too.
Lizette.
Yes,
Thank you.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Bye, baby.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.